Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rear view mirror, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up. You are here with us. Talk some baseball coming up at the bottom of the hour with Koki Riley. Matthew Burney will be along at 2 o'clock. NFL Combine is up and running. I want to talk a little about Devin Sheeran as well. Talk about that a little bit here, but a little bit more later on. And my first batch of SEC baseball power rankings coming your way at the bottom of hour number 2. Yesterday was a wild day in college baseball. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, and I think we're about to see that interest level subside for 2 weeks before we come back up for league play. But I'll give my best stab at 1 through 16 in the SEC. Do I feel confident about it? I do not. Do I care? Not that much. It's going to be pretty fluid. What I do like is to put the first one down on paper. We save it, go back in June and see how I did, and usually have a little laugh about it. But that's what I'm going to try to do here in 90 minutes. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
LSU and McNeese last night from the box. Was there some drama? Yeah. Was it competitive? Yeah, one-run game. Was that an exciting win for McNeese? Absolutely. Devastating loss for LSU? Probably not. Was it a good baseball game? No, it was a disaster. That game was played at the execution level of a 10-year-old player pitch game. LSU's pitching just imploded for 4 innings. And guys you count on to be quality arms for you. Just walking the yard. Hitting the yard. In the first 4 innings, you allowed 8 free base runners. 5 of them were hit by pitches. Now, LSU in the Jay Johnson era has made a living off getting hit by pitches. There is a skill to it to a degree when you extrapolate things over a 4-year period. You look at Daniel Dickinson last year getting hit over 20 times. Okay, that's a guy standing in there. He knows what he's doing. You look at the Bryce and Bo Jordan, what those guys did. Okay, they know what they're doing. I don't know how much credit I'm going to give McNeese last night for just getting hit by some pitches. And then some of the walks, like we laud LSU all the time for drawing walks. Go back and look at Marcos Paz's walks in the second inning. They're not even close, like not even remotely near the zone. LSU was just gifting McNeese base runners time and time and time again. I mean, I read the play-by-play out to myself this morning when I was going through some things for the show. Like, listen to the second. This is McNeese's second inning. Strikeout, single to left, wild pitch, ground out, walk, hit by pitch, walk, hit by pitch. And then there's the single to right field, and the ball gets thrown 20 feet over the cutoff man's head, 10 feet wide of third base. That's what I would expect to see if I went up to the traction fields tonight. And it didn't really get that much better for LSU from that point. Like in the 4th inning, you come out, immediately hit by pitch. Then single to right field. Maverick Rizzi comes in, walk, ground out, hit by pitch. Then a mound visit, fly ball, single. It was just pathetic. And it wasn't like McNeese was hitting rocket shots all over the field. They were getting hit by pitches, walking, and flaring balls into right. And you think that, oh, this is just Hunt being a homer, like discrediting McNeese. No, here comes the second stanza of this game. McNeese staked itself to a 7-2 lead, and then they couldn't help themselves. just walking guys all over the place. Pop fly to left field. Left fielder comes on, decides not to catch it. Center fielder standing right there, decides not to catch it. Shortstop, he's right there, decides not to catch it. Ball just falls in. And McNeese continued to put LSU base runners on base inning after inning after inning. It wasn't a cleanly pitched game by McNeese. They walked 8 guys and hit another one. But LSU never made it hurt when they did that. When you have the pop-up into left field by Cerno that nobody from McNeese catches, immediately Dardar hits into double play. When you feel like you're mounting a rally, I believe it was in the 8th inning. Let me check. Might have been the 7th. In the 8th inning, no, it was in the 6th because it was when, in the 6th inning, you feel like you're mounting a rally, and they're giving it to you. Like Pearson chops one up the middle. Reeves walks on a 3-1 pitch. Braun walks on a 3-1 pitch. So you got the bases loaded with Curiel and Brown coming up, and you get a pair of carbon copy weak fly balls to left field. Curiel's was deep enough to score a run. Brown's was with 2 outs, so it's squeezed. Like, you look at that, that's your 2 best hitters, and they don't come up with a good swing with kind of the game in the balance. And then you go to the 9th, and what do you know? Milam singles, and they walk another guy. Put the go-ahead run on first base. And then Cerna strikes out, and Dardar flies out to left field. It was just an ugly baseball game. The teams did not play well. LSU played worse. And because of that, because LSU's follies were worse than McNeese's, McNeese wins the game. Now, I'll say this about the loss last night. Now, you'll have to level with me here because this is going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I promise I'm not. In terms of winning and losing the game, like just in terms of one game, win or lose it, I would rather McNeese get a bunch of hits to beat LSU in a game. Hit the ball out of the ballpark, drive the ball off the wall to the opposite field gap, hit lasers all over the field. Like, I would rather them earn it to beat LSU in a vacuum one game. And that didn't happen. However, if I zoom out of this thing and I go 30,000 feet that I'm looking at this, okay? And we're taking this 9-inning game, which ends in a loss, and I want to just evaluate the team for the season, not did you win tonight. I would rather LSU throw up on itself, walk the farm, hit everybody, throw the ball into the stands, give up 2 runs on that error, and I would rather that happen because that's not sustainable. Because truth be told, if I'm extrapolating out for the entirety of the season, I don't want McNeese squaring up Maverick Rizzi. I don't want him squaring up Devin Sheeran. I don't want him squaring up Marcos Paz. I don't want him squaring up Cooper Williams for the season. So, ultimately, because I'm in this for the season, especially right here in February, this is just a whatever game to me. Whatever. I don't believe LSU is routinely going to come out and hit 5 batters in the first 4 innings many times. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think this is an outlier. I don't think it's cause for concern. I'm not raising a red flag. I would like some of these guys to be better. I want Cooper Williams to come in and get the first guy out. I'd like Zach Cowan to come out and have a good outing at some point and not walk the first guy he sees. I wish Marcos Paz could finish what he started, which looked really good to begin. But they didn't have it last night. They just pitched very poorly. And McNeese put 2 swings together that made it work. I mean, look at to go back to the point of how poorly these 2 teams played. If I would have told you entering the game that McNeese was going to hit 235 with runners on, was going to hit 167 runners in scoring position, was going to get a runner to third with less than 2 outs 4 times and only score him once and strike out 14 times, how would you feel about that? Well, they've got no chance. But because you put so many men on base, be it the free pass that they were doing nothing to earn, there it goes. LSU wasn't any better. LSU was, in fact, worse. LSU was 3 of 17 with runners on, 2 of 10 with runners in scoring position. LSU got the leadoff man on 4 out of 9 innings. He only scored 1 time. It was Curiel in the first inning. Curiel singled and York hit the homer. There was some positive in the game. I thought Marcos Paz for 5 hitters was awesome. 95, good slider, in command, and then he just completely lost it. He hung a breaking ball to a kid who hit it hard. Then he completely lost his command, walked a couple of guys, and couldn't get out of the inning. But the stuff you saw for 5 hitters was very, very good. Sheeran was awesome. Newt was good. I like seeing York hit a left-on-left home run. I like seeing John Pearson hit another home run. Brown thrown into the seats. He didn't make an error on the infield. You racked up a bunch of strikeouts on the mound. Like, there was some good stuff that LSU did, but the nuts and bolts of it, which is allowing free bases to the opponent time and time and time again, were dreadful and hard to watch, and that was ultimately what cost you the game. Big picture, once again, to kind of zoom back out to that, essentially what you're trying to do in the non-conference, you play 30 league games, which means you play 26 non-conference games. I'm trying at LSU to get a top 8 national seed. 22-4 is a generally a pretty good number. You've gotten through 2 weekends clean, and you've been really good in the midweek previously. You feel like you've got a lot of depth on the mound that can help you out in these games. These are bound to happen. Everybody's going to bring up last year when you got run ruled by Northwestern State. This wasn't ugly as that, although I didn't watch that game. But you're trying to get to 22-4, and at that point, you've set yourself up to handle your work in conference play. This is one of the 4. You'd like to not give one away this quickly, but generally speaking, LSU does. They lost one last year to Omaha in the first couple of weekends. I think it was the second weekend. You lost to Omaha, and you lost to Stony Brook the year before that. The team in 2023 lost to Iowa in Round Rock. 22-4 is kind of what you're looking at, and you dropped one. So this is probably a situation where the team steps back and goes, all right, let's refocus. Good weekend in Jacksonville. Atrocious effort on Tuesday. Let's get it ready to roll on Friday. They'll take today off. They'll practice on Thursday, and they'll play again on Friday against Dartmouth, and I expect that to go pretty well for LSU, considering that this should be a pretty big wake-up call. Congrats to McNeese. I enjoyed their freshman pitcher who was just going nuts, striking guys out. I got a kick out of that. They'll think fondly of this game. They'll remember it for a long time. Do I think anybody played super well in this game? I don't. I thought it was really ugly, but they got the win. LSU's got to learn from it and come back and go get it on Friday. I'll talk a little bit more about this game and some of the positives I did see. I wrote about Devin Sheeran at LouisianaSports.net earlier today, and you can read that for free on the homepage right now. We'll get to some of that moving forward. When we come back, I believe we have, it's either What If Wednesday or Koki. Is that what it says? What If Wednesday?
What If Wednesday?
Let's do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com, swingeasygcbr.com. Work on your game at Swing Easy Golf Club. It may be hard to find a driving range that you like that's got healthy grass this time of year where the grass is not growing, the wind's blowing, sometimes it's cold, you feel like you're paying too much for a bucket of balls that are all scuffed up and scraped, and it's just a hard time to go hit some balls and work on your game. We'll eliminate all that. Go to Swing Easy Golf Club, get one of your private bays, take some golf balls in there with you, and just put it on the driving range setting. You can see the trajectory of your ball flight, whether you cut it, draw it, hook it, slice it. You'll see that. You'll see your swing speed, carry distance, ball speed. You'll see where your club impacts the ball on a replay. It's been very helpful to me to see that time in and time out. When you hit one that you don't like, well, where did you catch that one? And if you're consistently catching it on the toe, well, maybe scoot closer to the ball. Consistently catching it on the heel, back up a little bit. It's just a really helpful deal to go there by yourself, out of the elements, and work on your game, which is always tough to do this time of year anyway. Swing Easy's an awesome spot to get that done. If you want to drink a cold beer while you're doing it, you can absolutely do that as well. They're on Segan at Perkins. You can book a bay online at swingeasygcbr.com or just stop by on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
March Madness is heading to Las Vegas, and LouisianaSports.net is sending one of you plus a friend with it. They're giving away a 3-night Las Vegas getaway from Wednesday, March 18th through Saturday, March 21st, just in time for all the madness. Hotel stay and flights covered. All you have to do to enter is head to LouisianaSports.net, click the March Madness getaway link, Sign up now before March Madness Pick'em launches. Get yourself entered, and you could be watching the tournament from Las Vegas instead of your couch. Winners will be announced Monday, March 2nd.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. I'm going to give you Joey Blanchard's number in a second. So if you've been thinking about a pool for a long time, time to do it. Time to get into that pool for the spring and summer of this year. If you've been thinking about an outdoor kitchen for a long time, time to do it. Get in that outdoor kitchen you've been looking for a long time. If you want to build your forever home, Joey can also do that at Renaissance Homes and Pools. And the best part about it is you work with him start to finish. He's the owner of the company. He's not going anywhere. His number is 225-252-7745. Again, 225-252-7745. Contact Joey. Tell him you're looking for a pool. Just looking for a cocktail pool for you and your spouse. Just looking for a resort-style pool for you and your 10 grandkids. Just looking for the pool that you've always wanted that's great for the whole family. That outdoor kitchen that becomes the outdoor entertaining space. Renaissance Homes and Pools can do it all, from the consultation to the design to the pouring and the construction to the filling in. All of it is done with Joey looking right over the shoulder of those who are doing the work. It's a beautiful thing about working with a local company. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, we'll talk some baseball with Koki Riley, who was at the box last night, in about 10-12 minutes. For right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, so what if you had to guess the weekend rotation for week 6 of SEC play?
That's 8 weeks away.
Long time.
You got 2 now and then 8 weeks away. We're not going to factor injury here, obviously. I'm not going to be prognosticating injuries at this point.
They're all healthy.
I have not seen anyone step forward that I feel is knocking on the door of a rotation spot, but I saw something last night that I'm not going to dismiss here. Reagan Ricken looks a little bit different.
Okay.
And I can see a world where Schmidt moves to Friday, Moore sits on Saturday, and Reagan Ricken slides into Sunday with Evans going back to a high-leverage bullpen role. I'm not here to suggest that would be the best thing for LSU. Yeah. The best thing for LSU is to have your dog emerge as a great pitcher. And look, Anthony Ianson, the 3rd, 4th, 5th weeks of the season was trying to find his way. He had a big strikeout game against Omaha, but beyond that, he struggled a little bit. And there's time early in the season to find your way. But there's something about what I saw from Reagan Ricken last night and in his first outing. He throws strikes. It just looks like a starter. I like the breaking ball. The fastball's got some ride to it. He's 6'5". I think he's only going to throw harder. He's going to be a star at LSU before his time is done. If you said, okay, guess it and give me your best guess, I'm usually wired to go with chalk. So I would go with Evans, Moore, and Schmidt. But if you said you have to change it, I would go Schmidt, Moore, Ricken.
Okay, Ricken, what's his classification? He's a freshman?
True
sophomore?
freshman.
True freshman, okay. Ooh.
Former high school quarterback from California. He's put on 25 pounds since he got to LSU.
Already?
He's throwing in the low 90s, but he's going to bump 94 at this point. He looks like a starter to me. And you've seen starters kind of emerge late in their freshman seasons. This is not to suggest his career will look like this, but I'm just on trajectory.
What is it
He is right now on the Aaron Nola path as a freshman. Aaron Nola is kind of a bullpen guy, and they put him out there on Tuesdays, and then he went out. And I was there uptown against Tulane in Turchin, and Aaron threw like 22 straight strikes against Tulane. And then eventually, later in the year, he went into the rotation. It was 2012. And, Aaron wasn't a super high school recruit. He was certainly on the radar, but he wasn't Kevin Gosman. He was not some of these guys that were just an absolute slam dunk first, second round picks out of high school. And he just blossomed into a strike throwing athletic dude who gradually gained velocity. This is the track Ricken is on right now, and I wouldn't dismiss that completely.
Okay, so what if you got a mulligan on a preseason bowl prediction?
I looked at these the other day.
Okay.
I think I'm looking okay. I got LSU pitching leading the SEC in strikeouts. And I think that's reasonable. They went nuts the first couple of weeks. I think they're top 3 right now. They might be leading the SEC. They play different games every week, and the stats aren't always adjusted. So they're close right now. 4 pitchers earning multiple saves. I don't think that's out of the question. Okay. Cooper Moore making 10 SEC starts. I would bet on that right now. And LSU not having a 21 home run player, but 6 guys will hit 10. I feel good about that.
6 guys with 10 is a lot.
Unless Aaron Beatty misses a lot of time right now, I feel good about Aaron Beatty. He's already got 3. York's got 4. Dardar's got a couple. I think Milam will get there even though he doesn't have one. Caraway's got 1 or 2. Brown's already got 4. And
that's a deep lineup.
I mean,
man.
and we hadn't got to Curiel either. I just got to get to 10 without anybody getting to 20. I think I'm okay. We'll see. And then Mason Braun will get more than 3 postseason at bats. That looks real good because he plays a lot. I mean, this was 3 games before the season started, and we didn't know Mason Braun was in the starting lineup on opening day at that point. And I said on that show, I was like, this might sound really stupid by the time it gets to postseason time. But right now, it's not, because Mason Braun is not in the starting lineup as of right now. Turns out he actually was 72 hours later.
Okay, so what if you were asked to try St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail?
I guess I would try it because you're supposed to try it, but I don't like super spicy stuff. That is a negative sensation to be overly stimulated with spice.
True.
There's only like 2 things in my world that I like, and I use air quotes here because I know I'm not like going off the radar here, that I like spicy. I like my crawfish with kick. I like gumbo with kick.
Okay,
But I'm not trying to, like, if I'm going to get like Popeyes, like, I don't need spicy.
I don't, because it tears my stomach up every time. So
like St. Elmo's is famous for like ripping your sinuses out of your nose with the cocktail sauce. Like, that's not pleasant to me.
See,
so if I'm in Indianapolis and I'm at St. Elmo's and I'm at the NFL Combine and everybody's gonna get one for the table, like, I'm gonna eat one. I'm probably not gonna like it that much.
Respectfully, I knew they were hot because I've heard about this. I didn't know they were like, we're dying at the table, like, you know.
Yeah, like if I'm going
wings.
to Pluckers RIP, like, I'm going medium. Like, I'm not going hot or like ghost in the fire in the hole or whatever. Like, that's ridiculous to me. I think it's weird that people enjoy their lips tingling to the point that you got to put milk on them. I'm out. I don't need it.
Oh no, I feel you 100%. I'll tell you what. I don't like engaging in it, but I do like watching the videos. Somebody eating like one of the hottest wings or something. Like,
wasn't there like some like guy on YouTube or TikTok or somebody that interviews people while they eat super spicy wings?
Yeah, hot ones.
I've never seen that.
Oh, and it's
I will
crazy.
not be appearing. Not that he's looking for my interview, but I will not be appearing.
Okay, so what if your CPAP never comes in?
We got a problem.
I see this.
We got a problem. I mean, look, sleep apnea. It's a fairly mild case. Like, but I snore. The wife doesn't appreciate it. So, like 4 years ago, I got a CPAP machine. No problems. I'm fine sleeping in it. Okay. She's good. I don't snore. Well, it broke like a month ago. Oh. And I can't get the new one sent in.
Why?
It's not. Well, you got to talk to this person. Well, this person's in compliance. This insurance company has to say this. Well, we already called them and did this. Well, somebody get the thing sent in.
Dude. What if you were like, what if you needed that to actually like really sleep? And you can die in your sleep without that.
Yeah, I'm not going to die anytime soon. We're not at that kind of sleep apnea.
No, I'm saying, but like, what if you were?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bad deal.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
Maybe that's why I'm like way down the list. It's like when you go to the emergency room, like, oh, you got like a cut finger, like get over there. Yeah. This guy's had a quadruple bypass. But it's bad. Like, I'm sleeping in the guest room at this point. I can't go in the bedroom.
No, that's crazy because again, my friend has sleep apnea. And we didn't know what it was growing up. So when we had sleepovers or whatnot, we're like, bro, this guy sounds like a grizzly bear in there. It's like, are we just talking like,
it's, I mean, I was waking myself up like, I think 2-3 times a minute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's not like, some of the people are just like really bad.
No, my friend is really, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was like, if you can't get this, some people like need this to really sleep. No, that's crazy. No, we got to make some calls, man.
It's got to come in. Living in the guest room, and I'll be quite honest. Apologies to the guests that come to my house in the future. Yeah, my bed's more comfortable than the guest bed. I'd like to get it. I'd like to get back in the bed.
Good mattress purchase. All right, so that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that's it for What If Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. It can be a tub to shower conversion. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. I asked David when we were talking about tub to shower conversions, said, how long does one of those generally take? Okay, every project's a little bit different, but generally speaking, tub to shower conversion, 3 to 5 days. That's all you're looking at, 3 to 5 days. You take out that tub that you either don't use or doesn't work or looks ugly, and you put in a glass walk-in shower. Changes the functionality, aesthetic of your bathroom. It's one bath and closets. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Contact David. Get that free consultation. That part doesn't cost you anything. And when it comes time to pay, you want some financing options, they've got it. 0% up to 18 months. That is same as cash. Just check out the pictures of his great work and get that free consultation online at onebathandclosets.com. Still plenty to do here on this Wednesday. We'll talk to Koki Riley. He was at the box last night, interviewed Jay Johnson and some of the players last night after the loss to McNeese. We'll get Koki's thoughts on all of that, plus a preview of the weekend when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. February's almost over, y'all. Got a couple more days. So if you're looking for a truck and you're looking for some of the best deals you can find on these gorgeous new trucks, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is where you need to be. If you're looking for a Silverado, maybe your lease is about up, maybe it's just time to get a new one, or if you always wanted a truck but have never sprung for one, here's the time, because those Chevy Silverados up to $11,000 off MSRP or 1.9 APR financing at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking on the GMC side, the Sierras up to $13,000 off MSRP, 0.0 APR financing. This is the time to get in a new truck. If it's not a truck for you, maybe an SUV. They got Tahoes and Suburbans on the Chevy side, Yukons and Denali's on the GMC side, and you know what kind of experience you're going to have when you shop with the Fabry family. They've been here 35 years, 3 locations, 5 brands. It's going to be a wonderful buying experience and great service after the sale. So check out that entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Back here on this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Talk to Matthew Bruni coming up in 25 minutes. Right now, Koki Riley from The Advocate, covering the LSU beat, joins us on Wednesdays on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
Going all right. What kind of Jay Johnson did you expect to run into after the game last night?
Someone who, wasn't happy, but didn't feel it, but someone who also kind of realized that the sky wasn't falling and it was the end of the world. And I don't know. I feel like he's just been more open to answering questions and answering them in more detail the longer he's been here as the coach following a loss. He's pretty much the same guy he's always been after a win, depending on what kind of win that is, of course. But for the most part, he's pretty much been the same guy after a win. But after a loss, he seems to be a little bit more open and a little bit more honest about what went down.
What did you sense his reaction was to just all the hit by pitches and walks early in the game last night?
Last night he basically said this is an elementary part of the game. Like, if you're going to do that, then you're probably going to be punished, and that's exactly what happened last night. It's pretty simple, right? Like, there's not a whole ton else to add, and if you want to talk about the more specifics of why each guy was struggling, Johnson didn't really get into that. He doesn't really get into those things even when they win games. Yeah. So that wasn't really any different. So that was the issue of the game, because offensively they struggled, but I don't think that was real. Nothing about that performance made me feel like that would be a long-term issue for this offense, because it was just a lot of foul balls where they were just leaning way out in front of pitches and weren't used to seeing that much soft stuff after a weekend where they faced slightly better competition with fastballs in the 90s at least. This game was not that, and they really struggled to adjust to that.
How concerned are you with Zach Cowan's first 3 outings?
A little bit. His outing yesterday was so short that,
right,
honestly, it was kind of impossible to evaluate. But I think overall teams seem to be seeing him better, and that seems like more of a stuff and sequencing issue than it does doesn't have his command today, maybe he can have it tomorrow, and maybe they can improve the way he's moved down the mountain. Like, that's never been an issue for him, the command, not really, at least. And I don't think it's really been the issue this season either. It's just more about, like, teams don't really seem as fooled by the fastball changeup combination, and there's not really a breaking ball that he can build off of that with. So they need to figure out something that makes him, sort of mysterious again. And you saw teams sort of adjusting to him at the end of last season where they were sitting more on the changeup than anything else. I think there was one South Carolina player after that tough outing against South Carolina where he blew the save, who said that basically we were just sitting changeup the whole time. Maybe teams are doing that again. Teams just don't seem that miffed by what he's doing up there on the mound.
I would agree with that. They are pretty miffed by what Devin Sheeran's doing on the mound. What'd you see from the big right-hander last night?
His velocity was down in the second inning. He was more 94, 95, which is something I kind of want to keep an eye out for if they're going to extend him past an inning. But the moving profile was still really good. The slider is still excellent. And I don't know if he's going to be pounding the strike zone in every single outing, because of he's got a lot of moving parts with his delivery, where there's a lot of benefits to the way he throws the ball, where it's like this cross-armed action that's going to make it very, very tough for right-handed hitters to see. And just the way he sort of lurches out at you, especially if you're a right-handed hitter, like that's a really tough look when it's coming in at 99 miles an hour, and the fastball moves arm side, the slider moves glove side, so he's covering both sides of the plate there. Like there's a lot going on. He hides the ball very well. So there's a lot going on with his delivery that makes him very tough, even if he's only at 95, 96 instead of 98, 99. But yeah, like I want to see what the velocity looks like in more 2 or even 3 inning appearances, because I think he can get through an order once, and as long as he's throwing strikes, he'll be fine. But again, with all those moving parts, with the delivery, with the way he steps, with the way he hides the ball, it's going to be hard for him to throw strikes every single time out there, and it's part of the reason why I think he's a reliever, not a starter. But his stuff is so explosive, and when he's anywhere near the zone, he's going to be very tough to hit.
He's very, very good by my eye. Let's go to the starting pitching. I know you were not in Jacksonville over the weekend, but those guys kind of right there at 5 innings, kind of holding the rope. Schmidt didn't allow a run. Evans did in 1 inning, and then Moore gave up 8 hits. But how do you feel about the rotation after 2 weeks?
Better after the second week. It was the sort of progress you kind of want to see. And it was against better competition, which is pretty promising. Cooper Moore was really the only guy who took a slight step back. And I think there's a path for Cooper Moore to be like a really good Saturday starter, kind of in the Anthony Ianson range. Because I don't know. I just feel like he tunnels really, really well between the fastball and the changeup. Mm-hmm. And those are 2 pitches that if he can locate in the lower half of the zone, he's not going to give up that many home runs. And it's going to be, more weak contact, more ground balls. And he gets a ton of swings and misses with that changeup. And unlike the issue that we were talking about with Cowan earlier, he's got breaking pitches. He's a better athlete. And he's just got a better feel for spin. So you're kind of looking at like a big curveball. That's not that bad. I saw a sweeper in the preseason that I really haven't seen much during the regular season, but that's something to sort of keep an eye out for. So he's got multiple pitches. Obviously, he throws a billion strikes. If they can just kind of tweak the sequencing maybe, and maybe get his fastball velocity, keep that up as the game goes along, sort of like what they did with Anthony Ianson last season, where they tweaked the sequencing a little bit, and his velocity improved as the season went along. Like, if he can do that, then he can be, one of the better Saturday pitchers in the country, or maybe even go into the Friday role if Evans struggles. So he's a really interesting guy to keep an eye out for. And then as for Schmidt and Evans, I think Evans is in a really interesting spot where it's really all about the command for him, because when he commands the baseball and keeps it low, he's very, very tough to hit. And I'm not that concerned about this outing against Indiana. I mean, only 2 of the runs were earned. There was a lot of weak contact. He wasn't really giving up that much hard contact to Indiana. There wasn't as many strikeouts in this outing, I noticed, but I think Indiana seems like a pretty good contact team. They just don't really drive the ball at all. And then for Schmidt, like, again, it's all about the command for him. Like, if he can command that fastball, keep it out of the middle of the zone, and then pair that with a couple breaking balls that he's not dirting, you just keep those things at least swingable pitches, right? Like, he's got to make those pitches enticing enough to swing at. And if he can do those 2 things, he's so tough to stop, because it's not like the fastball is easy to hit when it's on the corner, right? Because it's still 95, 96. And those breaking pitches, that's really his bread and butter, because he has better feel for spin than maybe anyone on this team.
Koki Riley is our guest, covers the LSU baseball beat for The Advocate. I know that Jay's not saying a whole heck of a lot, but, like, what's your concern level on Aaron Beatty from last night, and then Stanfield, who's now missed the better part of 2 weeks?
I think Aaron Beatty's going to be okay, just from some of the preliminary stuff that I've sort of accumulated on my own. Not really willing to say exactly what it's going to look like for him. It's still, everything's a little bit up in the air, sort of like what Jay said last night. But we'll see about him. Basically it's just too early to see what's up with Aaron Beatty at the moment. But obviously he's just a massive piece for them moving forward. Like, I mean, Omar Cerna still has a lot of work to do offensively and defensively to a degree, though he made a great throw in last night's game. And then with Stanfield, my guess is that they're going to get him back, maybe not this weekend, though that's a possibility, but at least before the start of by this time SEC play starts, I'd be surprised if he's not back. That's what it seems like. That's how it seems to be trending at the moment. He's swinging the bat. He's still a little bit sore, but the swelling has gone way down. But if he can swing the bat already, then that's kind of an indicator that he's he's well on his way to coming back pretty soon. So yeah, they can definitely use him. I mean, it's another right-handed bat that is the table setter. I think it really use him defensively as well. Like, they've really tried to piece things together on a defensive side in left field, right, where Tanner Reeves had an error out there. Braden Simpson doesn't look like the most natural outfielder. Can't really blame either of those guys too much. I mean, Reeves is always kind of trouble finding a defensive position, and then with Simpson, I mean, he's literally never played in the outfield before in college, so you can't expect him to do much out there. So they could use the help defensively, especially when they're going to be facing teams in SEC play that are going to be better at putting the ball in play.
Last one here, Koki. What do you envision the role for John Pearson on this team? Growing or kind of staying where it is?
Oh boy, I'm actually writing a story kind of about this where it's basically just a breakdown of how they're going to have to make decisions with this lineup and this lineup depth moving forward. When Stanfield comes back, assuming that he plays every single day in left field, you're taking out a pretty key kind of platoon spot that they've been using to rotate guys in and out. Because with the way Seth Dardar's playing, they really can't take him out of the lineup at second base. And he's probably their best defensive option at second, who can also hit. Rucker's the best defensive second baseman on the team, but they don't really trust his bat enough to actually put him in the lineup. So that's why that's really Dardar's job at the moment. So if you're going to do that, then really the only spot where you can rotate guys in and out is at DH. And right now it's basically Mason Braun, and Tanner Reeves from the left-handed side. It's Braden Simpson and John Pearson from the right-handed side. So there's really 4 guys battling for one spot, and it's really, really crowded if you think about it, right? So I mean, we'll see. Maybe they're more willing to take Caraway out of the lineup against certain righties, or do something like that, or even sit Stanfield against certain righties, but it's just going to be really, really tough for John Pearson to earn that time, especially if he's not really a fielder. They don't really trust him in the field. So, what's it going to be? Because he's not going to play third base if Caraway's there and he's a righty as well. So, yeah, like I can see the path a little more clearly for Braun just because he's hit the ball so well, and he can play a corner outfield spot if you need him to, and he's a lefty, so he kind of adds to that. He has that sort of added versatility. He's just played better than Reeves has so far as well. So, but like the other three guys, it's tough. Like you got to feel for Braden Simpson, and you got to feel for John Pearson a little bit because again, it's just there's not enough spots for those guys to get regular playing time at the moment, unless there's an injury like we've seen with Stanfield here.
I think they all kind of know what they signed up for, and they tend to generally accept it pretty well. We'll see if this group is as on board as those in the past. Koki, we appreciate some time here on this Wednesday. We'll see you at the box this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
He's Koki Riley with The Advocate covering the LSU baseball beat. We'll stick with baseball. I've got something that I want to talk about in LSU's bullpen. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. As of January 1st, Lifetime Roofing can offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. That warranty is going to include materials and workmanship. Those materials backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. Also, I tell you about roofs all the time, and they're happy to do a roof inspection, roof repair, roof tune-up, or a whole new roof. Of course, Lifetime Roofing. But they also do professional installation of gutters, siding, and windows. So if you're looking for new gutters, Lifetime Roofing can do it. Looking for new siding, Lifetime Roofing can do it. Looking for new windows, Lifetime Roofing can do that as well. Just the entire exterior of your home can be under one roof over at Lifetime Roofing, and they're coming with that lifetime workmanship warranty. Financing options are available. 0%, 18 months. Even if you're looking to finance a deductible, they can do that over at Lifetime Roofing. It's a growing team. It's a growing company. They got a gorgeous facility just off College Drive, and they're local and part of this community. So if you're looking for a new roof, looking for gutters, looking for siding, looking for windows, Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Maybe you've already got a Generac home standby generator. You bought one from one of the big box stores a couple years ago, but you never heard from again. And you're not really sure if it's up and running, and you're not really sure if it's going to spring into action when it's supposed to, or you've had problems with it in the past, but not really sure who to call. I know who to call. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Even if you did not buy your Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical, you can get the Boudreaux Boost. Their motto is better care, better service, because they're local and they're here and they can get to you quickly if you've got an issue and you need that generator running. You paid good money for it. It needs to be operable. So if you give them a call and you're a new customer, meaning you didn't buy it from them, they're going to give you a one-time service visit and some exclusive maintenance offers with Generac generators. For an air-cooled generator, under $200. Looking for a liquid-cooled generator, under $300. So go to boudreauxelectrical.com, boudreauxelectrical.com, and claim your boost. Have them come out and take a look at your unit to make sure it's functional. I know it's February right now, and we're not thinking about hurricane season every single day right now, but you do know it's coming. You don't want to jump into the crowd there in the middle of June when everybody's trying to get ready for this. Get out in front of it. Contact the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical and let them come out and service that Generac home standby generator. They're 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. That's Boudreaux's Electrical. Online at boudreauxelectrical.com. Devin Sheeran is someone that I want to talk about. He was awesome last night when really no LSU pitchers were. And I wrote about him for LouisianaSports.net earlier today. He has been good every time out to this point. And you consider his last 3 outings, and you're looking at a guy that is set down 10 in a row with 6 strikeouts. The fastball is touched to 99. It sits about 97. In the second inning yesterday, it dipped down to about 95. But it's not his only pitch. He's also got that wipeout slider. And there was a day in time where your bullpen guys were the guys who couldn't make it as starters. You had, I don't mean to disparage these guys at all because they were great pitchers at LSU, but you had Paul Bertesini on the 09 team that just came in there and flipped sliders. You had guys like, Nick Rumbelow and Joey Bourgeois that came in that were bullpen guys for you on some of Paul Mainieri's better teams. Now, you had your Nick Goodies and guys that made the big leagues, and Rumbelow did too, but you also had Chris Cotton, who came out there and just kind of flipped change-ups up there. But college baseball's changed with professional baseball, and you've now got guys with real stuff, high-octane stuff. You've got Chase Shores available. You've got Zach Hess in 2017 available. You look at some of the arms Arkansas was throwing at LSU last year. Dudes that are throwing it up there hard. And I like the depth of LSU's bullpen, but like Zach Callen's never throwing 99. Gavin Guidry's never throwing 99. Cooper Williams is never throwing 99. Santiago Garcia's not throwing 99. Like, if you're looking for somebody to come in there on this roster and go, all right, here I come, boys, trouble for you, like Chase Shores was at the end of last year, I think Sheeran's your most likely guy. I trust Gavin Guidry to go get outs. I think Cooper Williams is a nice pitcher. I think Zach Callen will throw the ball better than he has for 3 outings. But if I want somebody to come in and the other lineup is now playing defense, they're fearing what they've got to face, Sheeran's the guy. It's crossfire. It's short-armed. It's hidden. It's hard. It's 2 pitches. The slider's every bit as good as the fastball. Like, that's what I'm seeing from him. And so as you start to map out roles on this team, and everybody's fighting for him. You threw 9 pitchers over the weekend. You threw 10 pitchers yesterday. Everybody's fighting for time. Sheeran is standing out. And I think that's a guy who can come into the Griffin Herring role, who can come into the Chase Shores role, come into the Case and Evans role from last year. They got to stretch him out a little bit, but he did start at Mount St. Mary's, so he's done it before. And you need to stretch him out to get 6 outs, to get 7 outs, to get 5 outs. I think he can do it with premium stuff. I'm excited about Devin Sheeran on this pitching staff. That's it for hour number 1. We'll pause for national headlines and Sports Center. We'll talk to Matthew Bruni when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Go Tros Outdoor Power. Go Tros Outdoor Power. 2 locations. Baton Rouge on Airline Highway and in Gonzales. 22 years in family for the Go Tros. Shop with a family-owned business. This is a family-owned part of the world, right? Like, you can get a zero-turn mower at the big box store. You can. But why not patronize a local business that's family-owned and operated that is going to give you the customer service you want and you deserve? They've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far. They've got the largest parts inventory in LA. So when I tell you to shop with the local family-owned business, I'm not telling you to compromise the selection. The opposite. But you're going to get the customer service that you so desperately want. Grass growing season is upon us. You see the clovers out there. You know the weather's heating up. You need that zero-turn mower. Check out my friends at Goat Tros Outdoor Power. 2 locations on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Open Monday to Saturday at Goat Tros Outdoor Power.